one but two picks for Peach's Picks of the Day. AFI Behind the Clock. Holy Visions, it's Peaches here. Peach's Pit Party kicking off on this fine Monday, October 20th, 2025. If you want to get a hold of me, you can over at 208-535-1015. This weekend was rather pleasant. Just spent most of it with my girlfriend and her family. Went to Costco, got myself a nice tropical plant for the dining room. Also went to Walmart, got a little cactus. The aloe vera plant that was gifted to me by my neighbors, that died. So, yeah, rest in peace to that little guy. Just really stayed in the living room and just died there, you know? But I'm excited to have this tropical plant. Basically, I want to have some plants in my dining room to make it look better. I know if I get crazy with it, it'll start to look like a rainforest cafe, and I don't necessarily want that, even though I do like that restaurant. But still, I want to have some plants around. Went to one of those local plant shops as well, checked out their inventory, saw the price tags, walked right out of there. Ended up getting that tree at Costco like on clearance for like $11. So that's the highlight of my weekend. Yeah, people love hearing that, right? I'm very excited, though, that Electric Callboy has announced some U.S. dates for next year. I was really bummed out when, I think it was back in February, when they announced a tour for way late this year, starting in November, going to like January. But then they extended the tour, or they must have just announced a whole world tour for next year, where it's January through whatever, May, I think. Salt Lake City. They're going to be there April 28th. Electric Callboy with Polaris and Scene Queen. What a lineup that is. Polaris is one of my favorite bands. I've played them a couple of times on the air. But them opening up for Electric Callboy and also Scene Queen as well, who I just saw in Salt Lake, and she's quite a fun time, to be quite honest with you. That's going to be one stacked lineup. That's happening at the Union, again, April 28th. That show is on our concert calendar that is available to you at riverbendmediagroup.com/calendar. It's Peach's Pit Party. We'll continue here in just a few on K-Bear 101. I'm sure you're familiar with Pokemon, the highest grossing media franchise, having earned more than double the money generated by Mickey Mouse. Can you believe that? With all those fans and all of that attention, you think there would be no Pokemon secrets left, right? Well, the new Pokemon has finally answered the big question, do they poop? Yes, they do. It seems they do poop. The game Pokemon Legends Z to A, which was officially released for the Switch and Switch 2 last week, features some dialogue that suggests droppings and tummy troubles a Pikachu is dealing with. While this may be startling for some people, it shouldn't be because, everyone poops. I'm just wondering who has the biggest one. Snorlax, Gyarados, his are in the water, though. I can't get too crazy with this break, but I'm just imagining now. The biggest Pokemon probably has the biggest business possible, right? What is the biggest Pokemon? What is the biggest Pokemon? Oh, there is that weird monster. I don't know how you say this one. Eternatus, a height of like 66 feet, weighs 2,000 pounds. Yeah, that should have the biggest number 2. So my girlfriend and I watched It Chapter 1 not that long ago. Last night, we were trying to decide a movie to watch while she scrapbooks, and I just, pay attention to the TV, sort of help her out with the scrapbooking. We were, I suggested the idea of watching It Chapter 2. And she already didn't like It Chapter 1, but I'm like, you know what? If we already started it, we might as well watch the ending, I didn't realize It Chapter 2 was 3 hours long. 2 hours and 50 minutes, technically, but I personally like It Chapter 2 more than the first one. I don't know why, I just do. But I found this question here. What horror movie do you think you'd survive? Obviously, I would not survive It whatsoever. Isn't he some sort of like demon, or he's the eater of worlds is what he technically is. And he tries getting you with fear. Fear is what drives him. that type of thing. So I feel like he would discover that my biggest fear is being in deep water with giant fish surrounding me, giant monster eating me whole, in the water. Terrifies me. I watched those videos on submechanophobia, which is all about being afraid of those animatronics that are submerged in water. It's terrifying to me. I feel like he would use that to his advantage. All of a sudden I wake up underwater, that type of thing. What horror movie do you think you'd survive? I asked ChatGPT, what horror movies does it think it would survive? Or basically, what would be the easiest ones to survive? That's what it shows. You got to choose the movie Scream. I don't answer the phone anyway. Friday the 13th, I'm not camping, so I'm fine. Halloween, just walk faster than Michael Myers and you're good. A Nightmare on Elm Street, that would be insanely difficult. Freddy Krueger, the very first time I ever watched A Nightmare on Elm Street, I was one of those people that did not want to go to sleep. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I never stopped for gas in the middle of nowhere. Psycho, hotels, I only stay in Airbnbs, which is true. The Ring, I don't even own a DVD player anymore. These are just funny answers. I need some serious ones. Get Out. Yeah, there's that one. I don't trust anyone who invites me to a weekend in the woods. It Follows. No problem. I don't date. There's another easy one for you. Hereditary. That family's on their own. Another great answer. Maybe I should ask this for to peach their own later on during the 4 p.m. hour. What horror movie do you think you'd survive? Peach's Pit Party right here on K-Bear 101. You want to hear about a first world problem? Amazon, Snapchat, Hinge, so many different companies went offline this morning. I woke up early this morning, looked at my phone, see everybody posting articles about how Amazon's currently down, and there's all these conspiracy theories that China took us over, that type of thing. I was more so worried about the order that I just made on my parents' account. I just bought myself a food tray that connects to your steering wheel so you can eat food in your car. What's the word I'm looking for? You can eat food in your car without having to worry about spilling it. You can just have a tray right there in front of you, right? Hooks on, boom. Breakfast burrito right there on the tray. Every single time I go on my lunch break, I eat in my car. There's no way I'm going to go sit in some quiet break room where people can hear me, hear whatever I'm playing on my phone to entertain me while I'm eating my food. I don't have to worry about, Howard Stern cussing up a storm, because usually I like to watch his old show highlights, or I'll watch different YouTubers try food. For the most part, when I watch YouTube, I watch YouTubers try different foods. I only do that though when I'm really eating, and so having this tray was only going to help, make eating in my car easier. Comes with a little cool cup holder. You can also use it to hold your laptop in case you wanted to work in the driver's seat for some reason. Well, I went on to Amazon this morning, tried pulling up the your orders page because, Amazon was down. I was really worried that it was going to be delayed or somehow canceled, I finally got the menu to pull up though, and it does say it's arriving today. Thankfully, right? Oh, here we go again. I went to go track the order, and it gave me that stupid page that I wanted to talk about. Sorry, something went wrong on our end. Please go back and try again, or go to Amazon's homepage, and then they give you a picture of some dog. Is that really going to help? A picture of some puppy? Just, oh, thanks. I was really worried about my package. Now all of a sudden I feel better because there's a dog on my screen. Okay, now it's working. Now it's back to working. Yeah, Amazon's still kind of funky today. Amazon, Fortnite, I think, was down. The dating app Hinge, in case you were wondering why no match was talking to you, just blame it on the app being down. There you go. Let's catch your breath now with Dark on K-Bear 101. People are still talking about the performance of Shohei Ohtani on Friday during Game 4 of the playoff series between the Brewers and the Dodgers. Not only did he pitch 6 scoreless innings, striking out 10, he also blasted 3 home runs, becoming the first pitcher with multiple home runs in a postseason game in Major League history. The debate is raging now. There's a case to be made that this is the greatest game ever of any player in Major League history. F1 racing fans are going to have to shell out for a streaming service to watch their favorite drivers starting next year. Apple TV, which is already the home of Major League Soccer, has signed a 5-year deal for the U.S. rights to F1 after the sport's popularity increased in recent years after airing on ESPN. Formula One and Apple already had a close relationship with the success this summer of the Brad Pitt movie F1. If you want to start a new NHL team, you're going to need a huge piggy bank. New York Islanders owner Jonathan Ledecky told a sports conference that when it comes to expansion, minimum price will be a $2 billion fee plus a $500 million to $600 million equity commitment for a new arena. Ledecky certainly knows how the prices for sports franchises have exploded over the years. Think about that versus 1999 when Ted Leonsis bought the Washington Capitals and half of the Wizards for $200 million. Does it for your Shot Clock Sports Update. That does it for your Shot Clock Sports Update right here on K-Bear 101. You know, when you're shopping at a place like Walmart, Winco, etc., you're going to have to deal with people at the self-checkout lines or the self-checkout kiosk taking a little bit of time. I get frustrated very easily. I'm very impatient when it comes to those elderly people that just stare at the screen while the kiosk is going, help is on the way, you know? Well, you don't threaten those people. You just wait your turn. You then go up to the kiosk and check out, right? This one girl, Amber Thompson, she was angered this past Saturday while shopping at a Marshall's when another customer was taking too long in the checkout line and threatened to harm her once they got outside. And she lived up to her promise because, she bought a set of knives at the Marshall's, took one out of the packaging, chased the victim down, stabbed her several times. The victim was rushed to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Luckily, the culprit was arrested. She was found hiding in the bathroom of the Marshalls with a bloody knife on top of the baby changing station. This is Ross behavior. Really, a Marshalls? No, I'm just kidding. Make sure to check out Genius of the Day. Make sure to tune in for Genius of the Day because clearly this lady's both the genius and the D-bag of the day today. Which, by the way, you can hear either of those weekday mornings, 6:45 on the Victor Wilt Show. It's Peach's Pit Party. Let's continue here with our K-Bear Rockin' Halloween, haunted by Juicity Vapor. It's Code Orange, swallowing the rabbit hole. Peach's Pit Party right here on K-Bear at 101. Thanks to Brent Gordon Law. They're making the time switch, the time change a little bit easier. We're doing Make the Switch with Brent Gordon Law. We're giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 bundle to make the time change just a tad bit easier for one lucky listener. If you haven't signed up, make sure to do so through the channel apps K-Bear, Alt, and Cannonball. Loyal listener Godzona made a great point a couple days ago in the K-Bear 101 Idaho Rock and Metal Facebook group. If you downloaded the Cannonball 101 app previously and every single time you try opening it, it just automatically closes, we had to switch over due to a lawn thing that I'm not going to explain. We had to make a new Cannonball 101 app. Make sure to download the updated one, and that way you can sign up a third time. Don't sign up multiple times on one app. Sign up once per app, and then at any point on the air this week and next week, listen for the Mario sounder. Now, I'm going to play you the sounder. That doesn't mean it's going to happen right now. I'm just wanting to play you the sounder just so you know what it sounds like, because it's really fast. Here it is.
Let's go! Call now!
That is the Mario sounder to listen out for when you hear it. Be caller 13 at 208-535-1015. Again, not right now. I did notice when the promo was playing, there was a few people that tried calling in. Am I caller 13 to win the Switch? I understand the excitement, and I appreciate the excitement. But no, that wasn't it. What you just heard was the sounder. That doesn't mean call now. I was just showing you the sounder to be caller 13 in the near future, which is still going to happen this afternoon. Once you hear that, be caller 13, earn an extra entry into the drawing. The more entries, the better chances you have of winning the Nintendo Switch 2 bundle with Mario Kart on it as well. Mario Kart with it, I should say. Again, all thanks to Brent Gordon Law for helping us make the switch. Don't forget the time change. Early morning, Sunday, November 2nd, we fall back an hour. One of the few things I love about the wintertime is that all the bugs leave. You get a nice temporary break from all the mosquitoes, spiders, etc. that make their way into your place. If you don't deal with bugs inside your place, oh, good for you, I should say. I've been dealing with this one spider who had a whole bunch of babies, and there's these tiny, tiny spiders all around her. And they haven't moved yet. They've been kind of just chilling in the corner. But most recently, it got really annoying. I woke up one morning, and then I looked down on my bed. There was a spider crawling on my bed. Quickly got rid of it. Then there was a time where me and my girlfriend were going somewhere, and one of the spiders landed on her head. She freaked out, got it off of her. And then there was like a little something crawling on the back side of me. I didn't know what it was. And then I was driving to work one morning, and sure enough, a spider was crawling down my forehead, going towards my eyes. I quickly got rid of it, and I said, enough's enough. I need to get rid of these spiders before they become a major issue. So I went to Walmart yesterday, bought one of those spider sprays, had to say goodbye to that entire family, just wiped them out, sprayed all around the door. I had my broom with me. I was killing bugs. I was just killing a whole bunch of them. Like I mentioned at the tail end of the noon hour of Madness and Mayhem, I was just yelling, die, 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 to all these bugs that were around my front door. I think there's still a few more that I need to take care of, but it looks a whole lot better. This band, I'm very excited that they're coming to Salt Lake City with Polaris and Scene Queen. I talked about it at the beginning part of the show. They're going to be they're going to be in Salt Lake City at the Union, April 28th. You can find that show and many other shows on our concert calendar at riverbendmediagroup.com/calendar. I'm talking about Electric Callboy. Here's their song with Baby Metal, Ratatata. K-Bear 101, I know how beneficial this product could be for a lot of people, but who wants to be this person analyzing your number two business? Kohler, the brand's Kohler. They want to put a tiny camera in your toilet, analyze the contents. Yeah, it's a new accessory, $600 to buy this thing. It's called the Dakota. It clamps over the rim like a toilet bowl cleaner, pointing an optical sensor at your, you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to go into detail about this. It then analyzes the images to detect any blood, as well as analyzes your gut health, your hydration status. There is a subscription fee for this too. Not only do you spend the $600, you then have to spend between $70 and $156 per year, depending the plan you choose. I bet they're going to try to say, like, for the 7 easy payments of $10, you can buy this subscription service to have somebody at Kohler analyze your poo. Again, you think your job sucks? Imagine being that person that has to call people and say, hey, I just took a picture of what you left in the toilet. Yeah, you're not doing so hot. Even though I'm from Southern California, I'm not really familiar with the geography. If you really head a little bit up north, like towards, what's the area that I'm thinking of? Towards Malibu, towards Monterey. My friend Matt, he's contemplating moving to Monterey. He's been having some trouble trying to apply for a job in Los Angeles to work at a hotel, which sounds crazy, but yeah, he's been having a whole bunch of rejections. He's been having a whole bunch of people just not even reply at all. So he applied for this job in Monterey, got the interview process. I think he was offered the job, but he was just analyzing the living conditions or what the apartments would be like up there, 6 hours away from Los Angeles, where he was at for the past, I don't know how many years. But the reason why I'm talking about this is because I was trying to figure out if Santa Cruz is close to Monterey. I've only ever been around Southern California, and I've been to San Francisco. I haven't been really anywhere else in California at all. I know I'm not going to go to Bakersfield because Bakersfield just seems like a boring place to go. Fresno, too. I almost went to Fresno State, as a matter of fact. Oh, man, I can only imagine if I did that. But sea otters, they're stealing surfboards in California again 2 years after this otter was named Otter 841 menaced wave riders near Santa Cruz. There have been new encounters between the furry marine mammals and surfers. Could you imagine having to deal with that? Oh, is this an actual picture? Two incidences of an otter seizing a surfboard in waters off Santa Cruz, California have been reported this week. There's no way that this was photoshopped in. This can't be fake. This has to be real. It shows an otter on like the arm of a surfer. I'm hopefully not acting like a boomer falling for AI, but this really does seem like a legitimate photograph of an otter biting a surfer, trying to steal the surfboard. What do these otters plan on doing with these surfboards? Do they plan on just riding them around the ocean, mocking the surfer? You know how expensive surfboards are? It's crazy. Few $1,000s for some of them. The voice guy for Cannonball 101, his name is Pete. He's blind and he can surf. And I can only imagine, with his 100% blindness, him having to fight off a sea otter to keep his surfboard. Luckily, he's not in the Santa Cruz area. He's way further south towards, like, San Diego, I think. Scary. Scary animals are fighting back or fighting humans. Anyway, Avatar, tonight we must be warriors here on K-Bear 101. No, I thought this was a Family Guy episode. And I think it is. I think it's the first Family Guy episode that I watched where they have an issue in Quahog, Rhode Island, where people are licking toads. Sure enough, people are now doing that in the Phoenix area. Yeah, following some recent heavy rains, some unexpected visitors started hopping up in parks and backyards. Sonoran desert toads. They secrete a powerful neurotoxin that contains a psychoactive compound that is found also in ayahuasca. As a result, some people have been licking the toads to catch a high, but doing so can be dangerous, even deadly. I can't believe this is real. The Banner Poison Control and Drug Information Center has issued a warning about licking the toads, telling people not to do it. They're also warning people about toxic mushrooms, which have popped up also from the heavy rain, telling locals to stay away from them. Now that you pointed them out, I'm sure all the stoners near the Phoenix area, in the Phoenix area, and the surrounding areas are now going to rush to find these like it's the gold rush, only it's the toad rush. You know, I see a story like this, and then I feel like people would expect me to do something in this situation. The San Diego Zoo, they have this 10-year-old gorilla, I believe his name is Danny, ran full speed towards the glass wall and cracked it. Yeah, the 10-year-old gorilla just ran full speed towards the glass wall. I wonder what it was thinking in his head, like either let me out of here or one of the people behind the glass was just irritating it. And this gorilla was about to make mincemeat out of that zoo goer. Luckily, the glass wall was there, and it did get a little bit cracked. But how do they move the gorillas from their enclosure to maybe like some side room and then lock them up in there while they try to fix this thick tempered panel, you know? Do they have to bring in a whole new one and replace it and keep these gorillas off to the side for a little bit? All thanks to Denny the gorilla, not Danny. Just saw its name there. But I feel like if the gorilla was going to get out, I feel like the other zoo goers would potentially expect me to do something like, oh, you're the biggest dude. Clearly you can take it. Clearly you can fight a gorilla. There was all those crazy people that were like, oh, yeah, 100 men could easily beat up one gorilla if they just piled up on top of it. No. I feel like even if there was a bunch of dudes piled up on top of one gorilla, that gorilla could easily just kill everybody that's closest to it, burst out of the pile, start beating everybody up one by one. People don't really know how strong gorillas are. And no, I will not be that rescuer in that situation. I'd be running away so fast, away from Denny and the broken glass. Thanks for listening to Peach's Pit Party, the podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please share, subscribe, and rate the podcast. Peach's Pit Party is hosted by me, Peaches, a.k.a. Brendan Peach, and is a production of Riverbend Media Group. For more information or to contact the show, visit riverbendmediagroup.com. Until next time, Peach out.